Thanks for logging on to MyFoxHurricane.com. So we are really starting to see things heat up in the tropics. We have now a major hurricane, Hurricane Fiona. We now have Tropical Depression number 8. And then we also have this other area that we're really going to start to focus in on over the next several days, next week or so, that'll be working its way towards the Caribbean. First stop, this one, not really any concern at this point. This is Tropical Depression number 8. This is in the central Atlantic, currently moving to the north at 8 miles an hour. Pretty decent area of convection with this, but some stronger wind shear. You notice the center, it's sitting on that southern side. Anytime you see the center is sitting on one of the edges and not basically right under all that deep convection, that's just that little clue that there's some wind shear that it is dealing with. Now, as we go through the next couple of days, this does look like it'll strengthen a bit more, becoming a tropical storm. And then maybe heading over towards the Azores, pulling a little U-turn there and heading over some cooler waters. That's where it does that transition into more of an extratropical or non-tropical system as we head into the weekend and the first part of next week. So overall, no big concerns with Tropical Depression number 8. It's just one of those things we'll continue to kind of watch out there in the Atlantic. Now here is Hurricane Fiona, now a major hurricane. This is a Category 3 storm. You look at that eye right there. Sometimes you see some of the clouds just kind of overshooting right into the center of this storm. So not that absolutely classic looking clear eye with this, but still, this is a very powerful storm. Each storm has its own little unique characteristics, and that's what you're seeing, at least from that one aspect. But you can tell just by looking, say, 24, 48 hours ago, this is certainly looking much more healthy. You're really starting to see convection wrapping all the way around this system. Then you have this large band extending off of this. Now, this is moving into an area, there's plenty of warm water, moderate to light wind shear, plenty of moisture in place. So really all the ingredients are in place that this system is just going to continue to intensify. Now, the rain has come to an end across Puerto Rico, but it is going to be some time for them to really recover from this. Here is the latest on Fiona. Top winds right now are at 115 miles an hour. It's moving to the north-northwest at 9 miles an hour. You can see that pressure just continues to fall, currently down to 961 millibars. Now, watch this track as we go through the next couple of days. Heading to the north, eventually towards the northeast, there is Bermuda sitting right on the edge of that cone. So it does look like it should pass safely to the west or to that right-hand side of Bermuda. But still, it's going to be close enough to them that they're going to feel some of the effects. Certainly the large swells and more than likely at least some tropical storm force winds, if not maybe some gust up to hurricane force. Now, you notice what's going on here. We have a Category 4, we have a Category 3. So we actually could see a little bit of weakening, but the thing is, when you have those weakening storms, what tends to happen is that wind field will start to expand out. So that may actually get Bermuda into some of those fairly strong winds as it passes by. But if it can get at least far enough away that it keeps them in those tropical storm force winds or gusts, that would certainly be very, very beneficial for them. And then really starts to pick up speed. But notice, even by Saturday, we're heading up towards Nova Scotia, and we're still talking about a Category 2 hurricane working its way that far to the north. So you look at the computer model, still seeing that very tight clustering in the models, all basically keeping it just to the west of Bermuda, and then that turn kind of bending back towards the north and the northwest as we head into the weekend. So here's the Fox model. And what you see with this is watch as this passes by Bermuda. Right there, you can see some of those very strong bands working their way through. So even though we're talking about it passing far enough away from Bermuda, it's still, they're going to be dealing with at least the tropical storm force winds and some of those very heavy rain bands that will be working its way through there as we head into the next few days. Now, here's that other area that we're talking about. This is down currently in the southern Atlantic. It's going to continue to work its way on towards the west. Now, you look at some of the notes on this. This is a tropical wave that is starting to really show some signs of organization. The big key to this is it's moving into the Caribbean, and we have low wind shear, and we really have an environment that is very conducive to seeing more development over the next several days. Certainly what you don't want to hear, because remember, so far this season, what have we been talking about? We've been talking about either large areas or strong areas of wind shear or dry air. Well, now we're kind of getting to that point in the season. The dry air is pretty much coming to an end, and that wind shear is really starting to lighten up. And so the environment is becoming much, much more conducive to actually see development. So there's that area that we're talking about right now. And then look what is ahead of it through the Caribbean. Large areas of very light wind shear. Anytime you see these colors right through here, that is the light wind shear, very favorable for development. And then on top of that, you look at the water temperatures. Here we have Fiona up here, but still, you're talking about very warm waters across the entire Caribbean. So this is something we will obviously be watching very closely. I know you're going to be looking on social media. Don't take your cues from social media on these things. We're going to see all kinds of different solutions, some heading towards Florida, some heading up into the Panhandle, all over the place. At this point, it's just too early to say that far out. When you're talking 9, 10, 11 days out, the forecast accuracy is just very, very low. So don't hang your hat on any kind of solution like that. This is a wait and see over the next several days. And of course, we're going to keep you updated right here on MyFoxHurricane.com.